welcome to Polish with Ray. I'm Rachel and today I'm going to be sharing with you what I wore on my nails in February. Before we get started, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you're excited to see all of the gorgeous polishes that I wore back in February. And if you're not already subscribed, let's make sure we do that. I don't know why that came out like that, but go ahead, do it, because I'm going to upload new stuff and I don't want you to miss it. So this video is pretty late. Yeah, let's not talk about that. It just feels like it's been a crazy couple months. Like seriously, February and March were both so chaotic. Good, but chaotic. My apologies for getting this video out way after February. That being said, because February was so chaotic, I did not get around to that much nail polish. I wore 14 polishes, which sounds like a lot until you realize that, yeah, some of those were pedicures, maybe. Some of them were toppers, and there was a Skittle mani in there. I actually ended up swatching the KB Shimmer Spring Collection in February, so I applied some of those and ended up wearing a few of them throughout the month. So after Valentine's Day, I don't think I wore any of my own polish, like just for fun. Everything I put on was to swatch, and then I loved it so much I kept it on, which, hey, I'll take it, but also I'm not going to include that in this video. So if this is your first time checking out one of my what I wore videos, basically we're going to take a look at all of my manicures, pedicures from the month of February. We're going to look at swatch photos as well as bottle shots, and we are going to check out pedicures first, then get into manicures, first the ones I liked okay, then the ones I absolutely could not stand, and then at the end the ones that I loved. So pedicures first, I only put on one new pedicure in February. It was Bee's Knees Lacquer Lady of Flame. Lady of Flame almost gives like a metallic-y feel. It's a bright, warm-leaning red base, and then it has a really strong, fine, tense, dense shimmer that looks kind of red in certain lightings, but copper and gold in others. So Lady of Flame is a beautiful polish. I would have worn it as a manicure, but I kind of ran out of time, so I decided to wear it as a pedicure. Oh my gosh, it's been a few years since I've put this on. I forgot how amazing the formula was. It was a 2-coater, no problem, really shiny, really flashy and bold, and in my opinion, very Valentine's Day appropriate. When I think of Bee's Knees Lacquer, I think of their really sheer, light, sometimes large particle shifting shimmer shades. I kind of forgot that they have this kind of shimmer too that's really dense and fine and like looks metallic. This was a beautiful pedicure, and I need to try to wear it as a manicure too, maybe this summer. This red I feel like you can wear anytime. All right, and on to manicures that I like okay. Actually, I think this was the first manicure that I wore at all in February. It was a combo. I wore Big Bow Energy from OPI, and Big Bow Energy is a beautiful mid-toned cool pink cream. And I paired it with Vapid Candy Paint. Candy Paint has a purpley, violet, red, magenta almost base with all of these beautiful iridescent flakes in a rainbow of colors. So I want to say that I wore, it's been a while since I filmed, I think I wore OPI Big Bow Energy on its own as a full manicure for a good couple days. And I really liked it. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cream, wonderful opacity. It was almost a 1-coater, pretty much applied itself, and just a gorgeous color. I really like this shade of pink. And I got a few chips on my nails, so I ended up taking the OPI off of those nails and putting Vapid on in place of it. This wasn't on my rack or anything. I have my Vapid out. I want to do a nail room tour at some point. Don't hold your breath because it might take a while. But I have like a rack of like miscellaneous brands that I have like 3 or fewer of. And my Vapids are there right now. And this is the only one I haven't worn. And I was like, you know, I've had it for like 3 years, 4 years. It's time. When am I going to wear it? Like, it kind of feels fall. but it kind of feels wintry to me because it's like almost a jewel tone. So I was like, you know what? We're making it happen right now. We're gonna go ahead and pair it with this OPI. I didn't necessarily love the pairing, although I loved both polishes individually, and I don't plan to destash either. I just felt like this manicure was missing something. Like, I thought that the iridescent flakes in the Vapid, some of them are like this kind of OPI shade of pink. I thought they would complement each other a little bit better than they did, but it just felt a little bit random. So I liked this mani, didn't love it, but it was cute. The other manicure that I just kind of liked okay comes from Stella Chroma, and it is their February 2023 monthly mystery. This shade is a very cool jewel tony purple. It's got shimmer that shifts green to blue to maybe purple and holographic flakes. So as far as purples go, I really did like this shade. It was rich and vibrant. It was bright and super fun. I'm not the biggest purple polish person, and if I'm gonna wear a purple, it's gonna usually be like a bright, not like deep, but bright purple or a light soft purple. This kind of purple is not usually one I would purchase, but it was a monthly mystery, so it entered my collection, not really by choice. And I felt obligated to give it a try before destashing it because I do really think this is a beautiful polish. And although I didn't absolutely love it for this kind of shade, I really, really did enjoy it. I thought it was fun, it was bright, and you'll see I was really craving like the Valentine's Day color palette this month. Apologies if you're not into that, buckle up. There's a lot of red in this video. Lots of red, lots of pink, and apparently a little bit of purple too. I feel like purple is great for Valentine's, so that's why I reached for this one, and I did like it for what it is. And then the last manicure I'm gonna put in this category, I'm like going back and forth. Should it be in the loves? Should it be in the likes? And I'm like, when in doubt, put it in the likes. It was a combo as well. I wore as a base Bee's Knees Lacquer When Blood Is All. This one is a beautiful, dark, like deep, vampy red. I love this base color, and it has original UP pigment in it. So it's got those beautiful shifting pigments that are gold and green and sometimes red. It's so pretty. And then I topped it after a few days of wear of the Bee's Knees on its own with Rogue Lacquer Bed of Roses. Bed of Roses is a topper, and it's packed with red metallic flakes. Okay, so I think I wore Bee's Knees Lacquer When All Is Blood on its own for a few days first. I think this is what ended up being my like mani before my Valentine's Day mani. I just hadn't worn this in a while. When I got it, like when it first entered my collection, I wore this polish out. I don't know if it has, I mean, it does have a fill line. It's like up to here. I mean, that's a lot for me. I got it in PR. I swatched it. I think I wore it shortly after, and then I wore it again for the holidays that same year, and now I've worn it again. So this is one I think I've had on my nails 4 times, which is a lot for me. And when this was on its own, I absolutely loved it. It was rich, it was luxurious, every bit as beautiful as I remembered it being. And when it was time to change it out, it was showing tip wear. I didn't really want to take it off. I didn't have time. I was really busy. And so I decided I would wear Rogue Lacquer Bed of Roses. This polish I've had for a long time too, like 4 or 5 years since it released. And I've not known how to wear it. I don't truthfully love the color red these flakies are. Like, they're a little bit pinky, and I just like my reds like this is my kind of red. This kind of deep, ooh, rich. I like this red. I even can get down with like these orangier reds, but the pinkier reds I am a little bit picky about. And when I saw the red flaky Bed of Roses, I was like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna wear that. And so I said, what the heck, and instead of changing out the Bee's Knees, I went ahead and put the Rogue on top of it. The Rogue made me like the manicure quite a bit less. If you've used Rogue's toppers before, you should know, you do know, that don't layer it over anything that you want to still see the base, because you sure won't. They are dense. Like, so many flakies came out with this topper. I could hardly see the Bee's Knees Lacquer anymore, and it kind of had like a cool tonal look. Like, I didn't hate it. I liked it. But it was definitely a little bit of a letdown coming off the beautiful Bee's Knees lacquer when all is blood all by itself. So this was a little ho-hum. It was okay. And the rest of the manicures I wore in February, I absolutely loved. Let's start with the mainstream one first because there's only one of those. This one comes from Morgan Taylor and it is Ready to Jingle. I actually got this in PR with their winter collection. So thanks, Morgan Taylor. This one is like a deep vampy metallic red. So in the bottle, this is pretty. On the nails, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was not ready. I was not prepared for how beautiful this was and how much I loved it. It was like a delicious red velvet cake. I don't like red velvet cake, but like, oh, that's the feeling this gave. It just felt luxurious. It felt fancy. It felt high quality. I really liked this red. And I have other metallic-y kind of reds like this. This one almost has like a little bit of a brown lean to it, I want to say. But I have other reds like this, probably quite a few from OPI. And I did not get the same feeling wearing those as I did this one. It was just so smooth and like silky. I couldn't get enough. And I know this was like a Christmas theme release, but to me this did not feel Christmas. It felt wintry. It just reminded me of like garnets and jewels, and it was perfect for Valentine's. I loved this Morgan Taylor. And the next one I loved comes from Bluebird lacquer. It's called a Tightnit Bunch. This one is like a really beautiful, oh my gosh, it's like a pink with just a splash of red in it and lots and lots and lots of linear holographic. So I always associate Bluebird lacquer with their shattered hollow, I'm sorry. They do linear so well too. Like the opacity, I picked this knowing I needed a manicure. I was like, I've got time for 2 coats. What do I have on my rack that's 2 coats? And without swatching, I knew right away this linear hollow from Bluebird lacquer was gonna be 2 coats. Because Bluebirds, unless they're shifting shimmers, Bluebirds are pretty much always 2 coaters for me. Not always, but pretty much always. And this was almost a 1-coater. It was another one, just gave richness and decadence and fanciness. And I loved it. Like, I love these kind of bright, bold pinks, whether they're like bright summery pinks or like bright berry pinks. They just make me so happy, and this one was very satisfying. Another deep vampy red, I told you there were a lot. This one comes from Pahlish and it's called Cupid's Bow. This one like is a borderline brown. It's almost like maybe a brown with some red in it, which, is that burgundy? I think so. And anyway, it's got like a rich burgundy base and then shimmer that sometimes looks red, other times it looks coppery brown, like a caramelly color, and then it's got these hollow flakes. Oh my gosh. I could not get enough of this kind of rich vampy shade in February. Like, it had so much depth and so much like brood and moodiness to it. Like, it was kind of giving me like anti-Valentine's a little bit, and I loved that. Like, it was very rich, it was very dark and like vampy, and it had attitude. It's called Cupid's Bow, so I mean, it was made for Valentine's, but it truthfully, like, for me, I usually go for the rich true reds or pinks or something that's very obvious Valentine's. To me, this was not that, but it was perfect for what I was feeling. Gorgeous formula. It did take 3 coats to get fully opaque and even, but it was very easy to work with. And just add this to the list of polishes that I love. I have so many worn shades from this brand. I'm like accumulating a pretty big polish collection and I'm not unhappy about it. And then I spontaneously wanted to wear a thermal. I think I'd seen lots of thermals on my Instagram feed, and you know, winter is the perfect time to bust out the thermals because you're outside and it's cold and you get the cold state. And then you go inside where the heat is on and you get the warm state. And it had just been a long time since I'd worn a thermal. So I reached for KB ShimmerBarely Awake. This one has a really beautiful thermal shift. In its cold state, which is what you're looking at, it has this warm, very dark, kind of almost eggplanty purple curly base, and then it's got these gorgeous flakes that are purple and pink and gold and green, as well as holographic. And in the warm state, that purple base turns to a bright berry pink. Okay, so like I said, I was just craving a thermal, and I don't have that many, truthfully. I've destashed most of them because if I get them in my collection in PR, I know I'm probably not going to wear them before they die, so I just want to get them to someone who will. And I hardly ever buy thermals. This one I got in PR in 2020. I think it was 2020. Wow. I got this 4 years ago. And it still transitions. That's wild. That is actually wild. And I've not kept it in a dark area the whole time. My KB shimmers are now in an Alex drawer, but they haven't always been. And this still transitions, and it transitions like that. Go KB Shimmer. Now I want to try all my KB Shimmer thermals. But I was shocked when this transitioned because truthfully, I just kind of wanted this color. The dark purple, again, I was just kind of feeling some kind of way. I wanted something dark and broody, and this was telling me, like, making me feel Valentine's-y, but like not obvious Valentine's. So I was in the mood for something like this, and I was shocked when it turned to that beautiful bright pink. It was so pretty. I forgot how gorgeous that transition was because it's been so long since I've swatched this. And then the last manicure that I wore in February was my Valentine's Day manicure, and I forgot to say, I think that there was nothing I didn't like in February. So that's awesome. I liked everything, or I really loved it. So yay. But the manicure that I wore for the actual holiday for Valentine's Day was a Skittle, because I love Skittles, especially around like holidays. Like, they just put me in an especially festive mood. But anyway, there were 4 polishes included in this Skittle. The red I wore is from Night Owl Lacquer. It's called the Final Rose, and it has a true red jelly base, and it's packed with beautiful flakes. They appear red and copper and gold and green, as well as pink, and it's loaded with those flakes. The white Girly that I wore comes from Different Dimension, and it's called Are You Feline What I'm Feline? And it's got a white base as well as red and pink and white and silver holographic micro glitter. The silver I wore comes from Wildflower Lacquer, and it's called Magic Mirror. It is a silver scattered holographic polish, and it has beautiful flakies that shift red to copper to gold to green, and the base is hollow, so it's very hollow. And then the pink I wore comes from Girly Bits. It's called Fever Dream on Mars. It was in collaboration with Caitlin Swatches, and it's a bright pink jelly base packed with iridescent shifting flakes and some really pretty iridescent glitter too. This was my favorite manicure of the month, hands down. I loved it, didn't want to take it off. It was one of those polishes I was just roaming around the house trying to get pictures and video in every lighting situation, because the thing about wearing Skittles like this with the variety of finishes, flakes, and hollow and glitter crelly is every polish shines in a different kind of lighting. Like these gorgeous flakies like the Night Owl Lacquer and the Girly Bits, and maybe the Wildflower to some extent as well, look so beautiful in the lower lighting, but when I got into bright lighting, the Wildflower and then the Different Dimension really shine where they have a little bit of hollow in them. Oh, it was just beautiful all the time. And all of these polishes were fabulous. Formula, check. Overall look at the end, check. Easy to work with, check. I would wear any of them as a full manicure. Maybe not so much the different dimension because these Crellies, I don't know. I do really like this glitter Crelly, but it is to me a very Valentine's Crelly. And I just like to incorporate them as Skittles, but it's a beautiful Crelly and I love the dainty micro glitters. We know, I like that. So I might even wear this one by itself, but overall, yeah, all 4 of these polishes, get them out if you have them. If you don't have them, most of them are limited edition, so I'm sorry, but I do recommend them if you ever find them in a D-stash. So those are all the polishes that I wore in February. Let me know down in the comments, were you feeling the Valentine's Day colors like I was in February? Like seriously, I didn't realize until I went to sit down and film this. Wow, I really was going for those reds and pinks. But yeah, let me know if you were loving those colors too. Did you like any of the polishes I shared? I want to know that as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you next time. Bye!